Hello and welcome to devlog 6 for my new game EvCO Online. Today we're going to be covering weapon abilities for the sword and the spear. So starting off, we have Slash. I'm not even sure how I've named these now that I think about it. But we have the tier 1 sword ability, which is just a basic slash. And then at tier 2, or a projectile slash I should say, it's not very basic. And then for tier 2, we have a parry shield that will be able to deflect. It doesn't last a whole lot of time, but it will deflect things. In a similar way to the basic hitboxes, but obviously it protects you from every angle. Next up, we have vertical slash is what this is called. This one is horizontal slash. So whereas vertical slash covers a wider area in the lane that you're currently in, there are 3 lanes, which I'll talk about more in the future, but essentially the horizontal slash will cover all 3 lanes rather than just one, but you'll notice that it is um, a lot more narrow of an attack. And then the tier 4 sword skill is King's Blade, and that will create a I accidentally clicked twice, but that will create a giant sword that will only affect the lane that you're currently on, but has obviously quite a bit of reach to it. And that pretty much does it for the sword skills. Next up, for the spear skills, we have Spear Throw, and that creates an explosion when it lands. Although it's very cheap to cast. Something to keep in mind with a lot of these is that even if you think maybe the tier 1 ability is better than the tier 2 or 3 or whatever the case, a lot of them have different stamina costs. And so the hammer throw I think looks a lot better and feels a lot better than the spear throw, but it's also more expensive. So that's something to keep in mind. Next up we have Flurry, I think it's called. like flurry of spear strikes is essentially what it does. And so if I hold this down, as I hold it down, it will create a large amount of these spear attacks. And I guess let me just increase my knowledge here so I can grab one of these breathing styles, because I feel like it's pretty cool to have water style on in conjunction with flurry strikes. You can see here it kind of creates this wave of water style spear strikes. And yeah, honestly I think that's, oh, I threw my spear. Honestly, I think that one's pretty cool. And then next up we have a toggle ability, which is pretty rare for the weapon abilities. Well, at least for the melee weapon abilities. Most of them are not toggles. I think this might be the only one. But while this is toggled on, every time you jump, you will twirl your spear, and that will damage anything it hits. So, yep. And then for the final spear ability, we have Twisting Thrust, and that will put the wielder in a tornado of you're basically creating a tornado with your spear. And then when you release the button, it will shoot you forward and kind of teleport the player wherever the spear lands, and create that explosion. So pretty unique ability as far as melee weapon abilities go. And that does it for the sword and spear abilities. Tune in next time. I'll cover the Warhammer and range weapon abilities. Thanks for watching.